Yeah, my bad. I didn't realize the time. I mean, that's good.
Oh crap! I was muted the entire time. Shit. No worries. No worries. You're the only one who came.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I know, but I was muted like on the stream, so.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, yo, listen, I've just been super fucking swamped. I think everybody is right now for some reason. Like people are just like tired, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all thought like, you know, you get over like the holidays and you kind of come back like refreshed, renewed, and like ready. And I just feel like it was like a big drop off. Like, you know, the year has just been as bad, if not worse, than last year. And I just feel like there's so much to think about. Like, it's just exhausting.
It is exhausting. And I think that like everybody got used to, you know how like life is precious because there's an end date to it. You know what I mean? Vacation time is great.
Because there's an end. Like,
yeah. So like you really appreciate, so like, I mean, it's not like we're on vacation right now, but like we've reached this point to where we're like, people are working at home, so they're always at home, which is great. Yeah. It's good and bad, you know, like if you can't keep yourself healthy in that mode of working from home, then, or if you don't appreciate it and see it as vacation all the time, then
it's just hard because like it's great to be working from home, but you can't be, there's nothing else to do. Like you're not going out, you're not like meeting up with people, you're not going to, like, I'm not like going to restaurants and things, like you're not going to a ball game or your friend's house to like watch, you know, football or whatever. At least I'm not anyway. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like sometimes I think about like, wouldn't it be great to like go out and like do things? I want to do things, and then I'm like, oh wait, I probably shouldn't. You know, and it's become increasingly hard to think, like with everything that's going on, right? Like I don't blame people for getting frustrated. I don't blame people for starting to think that like think up conspiracies or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't blame people for any of that because it seems unreal.
Else, yeah.
Like, it seems unreal.
Yeah.
And then you have like, and then the scenario is as such where like, you know, Trump got banned from social media, right? And then there's this whole thing about censorship and all this stuff. And conceptually, I agree that a private company should be able to do that, but it demonstrates how much power these companies have. And so, like, it works because, like, it seems okay to a lot of people because maybe they support that, you know? But what happens if they don't support it? And it's really easy to like get mixed up with the things that are occurring right now because they can easily be, and that's due to political landscape. And then there's the COVID landscape, right, where people are saying like, is this like real or fake or you know what I mean? But it could easily just be,
people have too much time to, you know, to deep dive into everything and have an opinion about everything and really think it over because they're not thinking about doing anything else. So they latch on to an idea and they go down the rabbit hole, right? Is that what kind of you're saying?
No,
in a way?
I think that there's so many things going on right now where, like, yes, it's how do I put this? Brandt. What's his name? Peter Brandt. He used to be an actor, comedian dude. He like turned into some kind of like dude that talks a lot about politics and spirituality.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. By the way, I'm gonna be making a little bit of noise because I have to take my dog out, and I realized.
That's fine.
So I'm sorry, everybody.
I took him out before the show. My point is that like I saw a YouTube video where he's talking about is COVID like a disguise for transferring wealth and power, right? Which is something that I've been talking about for quite a long time, is that here's what's going on here, right? There's all this money getting transferred and all this wealth and power that's getting transferred during this period of time, right? But like, it could easily just be that people are taking advantage of the situation, right? And you know, you can look at Trump as well, right? Like, there are problems in our voting system. It's not transparent enough, which is why people question it, and which is why he has been able to, you know, use this as an argument in the first place, right? If it was completely transparent and verifiable, publicly and easily to everybody, then there would be no reason for us to even be having this discussion, right? But so like the problems he brings up are real issues,
right?
I just don't like them, right? But like he's used it in a way so he could easily just be, there's many things that are going on right now where we are just as a people vulnerable to. COVID has made us very vulnerable to like government telling us what we should and shouldn't do, and then also the wealth transfer, because we're printing a bunch of money and like a small amount of people are getting more money out of this whole deal, and middle class is getting poorer and the poor is getting poorer. You know, so there are all these things that we have become very, very vulnerable to, and it's so much. Anyways, and then the people who do have jobs are dealing with that and the exhaustion of that, and the people who don't have jobs are just exhausted because they are really worried.
Yeah. I think that's exactly how it is. I mean, I'm lucky to have a job, you know, and I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, I was having a conversation today with our accountant at work, and I said, like, she's like, oh, you know, in February when everything's back to normal, and I was like, wait, what?
Like this February? Like in like 2 weeks?
It's not like people who don't have a job right now are going to, who, like, let's say they did the right thing, and we all know that most of us don't do the right thing, which is like, let's save a year's worth of salary just in case of emergencies, right? Most of us, like, that's what you're supposed to do, but most of us don't do it, and it's actually 6 months, right? So
well, they said like a couple of years ago that was it even a couple of years ago that they did like a study that the average American doesn't even have like $400 to put like if their car broke down or something, they didn't have the money to get it fixed. They would have to put it on credit.
Well, sorry, what was that?
Like they didn't have a savings of even $400.
Oh, yeah.
So like if an expense came up of like fixing your car for $400, the average American really didn't have that money saved.
Yeah, and I remember us talking about that, and You know, even
So they're
even
not going to
with-
have like 3 months salary, 6 months, a year. I mean,
yeah,
you know, if they don't even have like $400.
right. And let's just say I think it's like 10%. The no, maybe even less. It's probably
What,
5 or
10%?
10% of people who actually saved an entire year's worth of salary. They would be, and let's say they're out of a job, they would be out of money right now. And they're going into 2021 and they have nothing, and they can't get they can't pay their bills. So this to me is only just going to get worse. We're at least a year away from like fully vaccinating everybody and getting, you know, that out of order, right? And there's hiccups there. So I don't see 2021 being any better. If anything, I see it getting worse. And if you look at 2008 when the recession happened, the consequences of the recession didn't occur, at least in the real estate market, till about a year later in 2009.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think Lux was saying that last week too.
Yeah.
Or Jet. Yeah, nobody's here this week. Where's everybody?
I
mean, like we turned the corner on the calendar year, and like people were like, oh, all of the, you know, events and different things that people were kind of holding off last year. The calendar just turned and they're like, oh, we're not going to do it until next year. So there's just like a real, like nobody's doing in-person stuff until next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just.
So I watched.
When is
the
normal life going to resume? Who knows?
I watched the. Did you see the pictures of? Hold on. Pictures of Capitol Hill, with the National Guard.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's crazy. You know what I was wondering, right? Like you watch all these movies, which, by the way, I saw a fucking. All right, here's a good picture. I saw fucking. I watched the entire Marvel universe over again. Not the entirety of it, but like the Avengers, Doctor Strange, and shit like that all over again. Just is a lot of time to watch shit. You know what I mean? Plus, I was preparing for WandaVision.
Yeah, I feel like I watch the same stuff. I need to expand, but I always get suckered into.
You said this last time.
I'm more of a TV show person too. Like movies are just not really. They don't fully do it for me.
They feel weird, right? Like they feel short, almost, right? There's not enough development. I don't know.
Movies, you mean?
Yeah.
Or,
Movies.
Yeah. Like I could get suckered into like a 10 episode, you know, hour long series, and I'll watch it. Like I'll watch it for like 5 hours. But there's something about like a movie that I'm like, oh, I don't want to like sit and like even, you know what I mean? In my head, I'm not carving out that much time for a TV show, even though I am more.
Do you remember like VHS?
Oh yeah.
You remember VHS? So for those of you who don't know
older
what
than
VHS
you, I
is,
believe.
Oh, really? Damn, you old as fuck.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I assume that you're the same age around as like Yard Sale and
yeah, I would be the youngest one out of that bunch. I was always the youngest. I was always the youngest one, man. Anyways, VHS. So they're tapes. So you used to go and you used to rent movies and TV shows, and like you pop them in this little tape player, and they would play. Oh my God, remember tracking? Whatever. Anyways,
tracking. Did you have like the rewind? Like, so we would have the rewind device that you just stick the tape in, and its sole purpose is to just rewind the tapes.
Oh yeah, I seen those. You know what? I never understood those.
We
things.
had one.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And like as kids, if we'd be like looking for movies, you would always every movie you would come across, you'd have to rewind it.
Yeah.
And so you just like start to rewind like all of these movies.
So the thing is, I used to not be able to handle, like, I used to see like dual sets, you know what I mean? Like The Godfather is like, I think it's like 3 tapes, you know what I mean? And Titanic was 2 tapes, and I was like, who the fuck watches this long of a movie, right? But now I find myself, just like you, suckered into like a 10 episode season, each an hour long. That's 10 fucking hours.
Yeah. When I caught up on Game of Thrones, like when I started watching it.
Yo, who's this girl from 1988? She's super cute.
1988.
Honestly, wish I lived in the 80s. I mean,
I think the 80s was great.
I was born in the 80s. Fuck, I don't want to say anything. I was born
in the 80s. I was born in the 80s.
Yeah, but I wish I was like a teenager. Maybe a teenager.
Yeah, like my cousins are in that age range of, they were kind of teens and young adults in the 80s when I was born. Like they were they were between the age of like 12 and 25, all my cousins. So they're all older now. They're in their 50s. Some of them are like approaching 60 even. And they are looking like they're having a great time in life. And I'm like, man, they look like they're having so much fun. I hope I'm having that much fun when I'm their age. It's different now. Like when I was a kid, like a person who was 50 felt old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't feel as old now, I feel like.
Oh my God. They still feel old as fuck.
I feel like, okay, somebody
I feel
like
old
a
as
GIF
fuck.
or something where it's like, somebody, you know what I mean, once where it was like Jennifer Lopez is like 50 something, you know what I mean? And like I feel like
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
When we were kids, like an old person looked like Betty White.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a 50-year-old. You know what I mean?
Nowadays, people still look good for longer. Yeah, you're right.
Jennifer Lopez is 50. That's crazy. She looks great.
Yeah, she does. But she also works out and she also does her shit. You know what I mean?
No, but still, she looks good. Like, I'm not like a huge, I mean, I think, but every time I ever see her, I can never get over her age.
Yeah. You know what? I really have to get back into shape. One thing is like this past year has really thrown me out of shape. Like the most I've ever been in my entire life. Not in my entire life. I think when I was drinking it every day, I think I was in a worse shape. Actually, no, I don't think so because I'm older now. Like it's just like the consequences.
Yeah, your metabolism if you were younger.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, I don't know, man. Like I have these hand pains. Like I was playing guitar the other day and I just started having these like serious hand pains.
Oh, you were saying that you were playing so much, right? Like
yeah, and like my wrists, they're just pain. And then also I got like white hair, and then I looked at the mirror and I was like, oh my God, that belly's getting pretty big. Like what the hell? Like I used to be able to look past 2 fingers, now I can't look past 3 if I put it below my navel.
I have call it a storm streak, which I found out it's actually Rogue. I didn't realize this. Rogue has like the gray hair streak, and Storm has like the full head of like white hair, right?
Yeah, but that shit's cool. Not like old.
Well,
man,
it's like in a place that you can't really
Twashe.
see, unless like it's like up in a braid or something. But the first time that I found it, I was really like, what the F? Like, I thought, honestly, I had like flour in my hair or something because my hair was like up in a ponytail. The realization that, I mean, it's like a long streak of hair. It's not like one gray hair. It's an entire, area of my head that all turned.
Life
just
is
one color.
too short, man. It's much too short, and I think I am starting to feel it. I mean, I've always felt it actually, but still, okay. Jennifer Lopez gives me hope for 50, and you know, other people give me hope for 40, right? Like 40, you know what I mean? Like people, like I know a lot of good looking 40-year-olds, you know.
Oh yeah.
And 50 is not bad either, you know. And it doesn't have to be that bad. Doesn't have to be that bad, at least for a little while. But back to this picture here on fucking in Capitol Hill. I don't understand, right? Like I watch all these zombie movies, right? And every time they set up like barracks, like outside of a place that they're trying to secure. And what I don't understand is like there's literally people just sleeping on the floor in the Capitol building, and it makes us look bad. Do you know what I mean?
It's not the picture
good.
of like defense that I would want to like put out.
Yeah, like I understand
like,
that you
this
filled.
Yeah.
So the response was, let's just fill the Capitol building with like National Guards. Let's just fill it up. Let's fill it up and make them stay there for a while, you know? Let's fill it up. Like, okay, why couldn't you set out tents around it and create a perimeter? Or like, you know, I don't get it. Like, there's literally like reporters walking past like National Guards that are just trying to fucking sleep. You know, it's like, why? I like you couldn't give them like a piece of foam to lay on. Like it looks like an encampment of some sort. You know, like a refugee camp. It don't look like soldiers to me, dude. I mean, no disrespect. I don't understand. What is it, like a money thing? Because I'm pretty sure we pay a lot. Why couldn't we just get them like cushions? I don't understand. Or a tent.
Well, I guess it's like that's how. Well, I mean, they're in their own country. Like that's, I guess, how they would be if they were somewhere else. Well, it's the National Guard. So I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like, let's fucking set up some barracks, set up some tents. Like
They look just like the army, though. Is the National Guard made up of those that are in the army, or is it a separate?
It's a separate thing, but it's similar, right? So, you know, sometimes they're like reinforcements, and sometimes like, you know, National Guard are referred to as like, quote, weekend warriors, but they go through similar training, and they are sent in for reinforcements and stuff. Like if we were in a war situation, like sometimes they'll send the National Guard to come like help the army or whatever. They'll send like groups on missions and stuff like that. But you know, I don't like they should have the same equipment. You know what I mean? Okay. You should have. I mean, I just don't see an excuse for them to be like sleeping like this. Like this is not how we should be treating these people, and B, it's not a great look for us. You know, like, I mean, I was watching YouTube and Fox doing Fox things. They start talking about how the Chinese army is like experimenting on humans to create like super soldiers, you know what I mean? So they're like doing some kind of genetic engineering, I guess, supposedly, but you know, it's Fox. So I don't know. But like They got pictures of the fucking super hyper organized fucking communist like soldiers, and it's like, okay, this looks very, very nice.
So like, yeah, like the
And-
military.
Yeah, you know, if there was anything like this, I don't know, they just look great. And you compare it to what we've got going on in Capitol Hill, and it's just a bunch of people sleeping. I don't know why they're all
just
sleeping.
like the narrative that they want out there, right? I mean, there's probably plenty of pictures of these guys walking around as well, but this is what's being pushed and shown everywhere because that's what they as in the media. That's what they want the narrative to be. Like,
Why
look
do
at
you
the.
think that is? I mean, that's you could be very, very right. I'm wondering why do you think that is?
Well, if you look at it, like you just typed into the search engine, National Guard, Capitol, and the same images, the same like two images, kind of pop up everywhere. So.
Well, actually,
to me, it's just
the
like
first
it's
images that came up was people surrounding the place. Like, I'll do it again. I put guard twice. No, I mean there's good images, but this is also a separate page, right? It's not. It's not the same. It's not.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not the same, but like I've definitely have seen these images, so I'm wondering why that's what the focus is on. I don't know.
Saying that it just, I don't know. I have a hard time. I just feel like, and I've been really like trying to stay away from like looking at anything recently.
That's good.
Just, like we said, there is just so much going on, and I hate to say this, but like me talking about it,
let's just stare at Jennifer Lopez.
To a point. We've come to a point in some ways that like it's hard to discuss with people because everybody is so set in their opinions on like why things happened, how they happened, who made them happen, who's at fault, what's to blame. You know what I mean? It to me, nobody's having real conversations around. It's all kind of being pushed out like what is on the news, and everybody's being thought to kind of share and just reiterate what they heard on CNN and Fox.
I was complaining about
right?
about that earlier in the year. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah, no, I definitely remember. Yeah.
I'm
not trying to say that like it's just hard sometimes to. I said that I don't have any proof that like this is what they're pushing out. You know what I mean? But it just always feels like we're looking at the same images. They have the same storylines for a lot of these things. So that's where
definitely a story coming out, and you were right. People are regurgitating this stuff, and not hesitating at all. And
yes,
the other
exactly.
thing is, Duff, is that listen. Twitter and Facebook banning Trump, right?
Yeah.
Look, there is a problem with the way that these platforms are set up because it leaves us vulnerable to what you're talking about, which is like somebody has the ability, groups have the ability to show or not show or influence our thought. Does that make sense? And if you don't agree with that thought, then you are separated. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
no,
like, and this all goes back to why I went so crazy about
week.
privacy, is because people think that they have nothing to hide, and that might be true, but I think I would argue against that. But let's just say
it depends on how it's being interpreted.
Let's just say that you have nothing to hide, right? But the information about you can then be used against you by trying to influence your thought by showing you certain things or not showing you certain things. And that's a problem. And I'm not saying like, hey, it was like Trump probably needed to get fucking his ass handed to him somehow a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He probably needed that for sure. But it's shown that what you're talking about actually does exist and can happen. It just so happens.
I think you showed that last week as well, of just, when you were saying that you were getting different images.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and you were, and I think that, and just this is the good thing about like this space that you've created here is we're able to have these conversations, and I think openly discuss, not our beliefs, but just different areas of thought and like reasoning, and kind of taking different sides, and not being told like, no, you're not right, and Lux brought it up last week, and I think I tried to explain this to someone this week, actually today, and it's just funny, it just got caught with like so much resistance as well.
Yeah.
When Lux brought up about the Capitol being a symbol of the elite, and looking at it from these people opposing a government, that they are opposing the government, not treason or anything like that, but as part of the democracy, they are opposing the government. And I thought that was really interesting, and I'm not explaining it right, so he has a better way, and I think if you can even explain it a little bit better. But it just made me open my eyes to thinking, oh wow, that's a different line of thought than I would have ever considered. And it did make me think like, I don't think what they did is right, and I'm not trying to come across in any way that I do think it's in any way what they did right, but I can put myself in their kind of shoes, if you will, and try and see it in that way. And you get just shot down like, oh, this was a tyrannical president who is just, this is the last straw, and he really needed to get out. He was the one that provoked them, and you can't have any like conversation about this. You're either right or you're wrong. And if you're wrong, you're against, like, you're not a patriot, and it's just crazy to me how like you can't even interpret the so many different things that happened that day. You have to fall into the same line and oppose all of them. You know what I mean? And just like toe the line, kind of.
I'm well. So I got a little bit lost, but I think if I remember what Lux was saying is that the building itself is a symbol for our democracy, and the fact that it was like, run down like that was symbolically an attack on democracy.
Yeah, and the people are opposed. They're fighting against the powers inside the building. So the elite and that upper class.
And if you
thank you. I know, like, I explained it horribly.
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And that's true. Like, some people saw it as like, let's not. Like, I don't want to group everybody in that group into like the people who attacked the Capitol, because there were plenty of supporters who were like, I support Trump, but like what's going on over there is not what I'm about. You know what I mean? But
then it became, not to interrupt, but it became, well, how can you can't call yourself a Trump supporter if you don't support, if you can't not support, you know what I mean?
Sure. And on the other side, people who don't support Trump, who see a Trump supporter, will automatically assume that they are a part of that group and
Exactly.
support that. And so, and that's too black and white. It's just not the way it is. I saw a woman say, she thought, you've probably seen this video floating around where she got like tear gassed, and she's like, somebody asked her like, well, why are you here? And she's like, well, it's a revolution. And you're right. Maybe some people, listen, if you really believe that there was a problem, then, I wouldn't expect a different reaction, right? If you really found like evidence and proof and like felt a certain way, so on the one hand, I'm really happy that they were able to do that, because I have conflicting feelings. Okay, I didn't want
I agree.
that group
Yeah.
to be the ones to do this in this context. But as Americans, I feel like you should have this inclination to do so when the government doesn't serve you right. Can I just interrupt real quick? This kid has got a lot of fucking heart right here. You see this kid?
With the rifle
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, bro, he's got some heart.
He looks young.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks really young. Dude, I was trying to send money to trying to wire money to China. And there's all these like restrictions, man. Wiring money is a pain in the ass, man. Like if you're a business right now, cuz there's
Really?
like, yeah, I mean, like any service outside of your bank is actually really difficult to use. Like if you're a personal person, if you're sending money personally, then it's not that bad. But if you are sending money as a business, then there's kind of these restrictions, so you can't use like, you can't really wire necessarily to pay for a service or anything like that. But if you call up your bank and you ask them to send the money, they'll send it. But like if you're using something like TransferWise or all these like companies that kind of like make transferring money easy, there's like these weird rules behind it. But wiring money is a pain in the ass in general, because you have to calculate the fees, the exchange rate, then you have to have the SWIFT codes and the account numbers and the address is like backwards in China. It's really weird. And
Is it because it's on the other side of the world?
maybe, but like, and then they at least the process with my bank was they had to call me, like gave them all the information for it. Then they had to call me and confirm the information again before they send it out. And then there's a cutoff point. So the way wire transfers work is actually really interesting and really old-fashioned. There's like these like Swift has like this like partnership of a network of banks and stuff like that, right? That are international, and like the banks will then like send the money to these this like group, and then they will send the funds on behalf of the bank or whatever to they're like a middleman, right? And it's like it's just interesting because they compile them within, I just imagine like them getting like hundreds or thousands of tickets, right? And they just compile them all, and then they go through them and they sort through them, they send the monies over, and you know what I mean? They literally compile all the requests in one day, and then they go through each one and send the money. And then I guess it's the same with like ACH too. They have to go through what's called a clearinghouse, and it's just like some company that, is an intermediary between banks, and it's just funny, dude. Especially when we have stuff like Bitcoin that just works on its own. I guess the reason it's shocking for me is because I've mainly ever really worked with crypto and Bitcoin, and it's only been later in life that I started using bank services that I guess most people have used most of their life, right? And I'm like, I you know, to go from that to go from crypto backwards, it just feels like dumb. You know,
I could see that. Yeah.
like if I were to send money internationally, all I would need to do is like put in an address and pay like a small fee, like a couple cents or $1 or $2 or something, depending on how big it is. Like I could send $1 million for like $2. To send $1 million, to wire $1 million would cost probably like 40,000 or 40,000. I don't know. I wired like
Would cost really
less than $1,500, and it cost me $48 to send.
What?
Yeah, $48, right? It's
That's
crazy.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy, but the fact that like even then, right? If I were to send like $1 million, let's just say that the fee was $48 to send $48 to send $1 million. I can send the same amount of money with Bitcoin for like less than a cent. And it would arrive not a day later, not 2 days later. It wouldn't have to go through any fucking clearinghouse, or like I wouldn't have to like talk to people on the phone or fill out a form. I would put in an address and it would arrive there in less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't. I do not know. Oof. All right. Well, give me another celebrity who's old who still looks good. I'm on.
Ooh,
a binge.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
He's like 50.
RUD. DD.
I think 2 Ds maybe.
Oh.
By the way, those
Ant-Man.
photos of Jennifer Lopez are not even like good photos that you had up.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even. Who's that guy in the corner?
But dude, he does look the same. He looks
good,
same.
right?
He looks the same. I was
He's
watching
cute.
him as Ant-Man.
He's got a good smile.
I was watching him as Ant-Man. I'm glad that you like brought him up, because I was watching him as Ant-Man and in Avengers, and I was like, because I remember seeing him on Friends, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he was Mike.
Yeah, and I was admiring his youthful look.
Yeah, he looks like he'd just be like a fun person to be around, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Is he married to Lisa Kudrow?
In Friends, he was married at least to Phoebe.
Oh, really?
They got married.
Yeah, I had the biggest crush on Phoebe when I was younger.
Did
And
you?
Now that she's older, not so much, but
I
you know
don't-
who
I think they
does?
did not. I don't think they aged very well. A lot of the Friends.
You know who did age really well is Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, she looks good.
There's this-
Courtney
there's-
Cox did
there's
not age
no.
well. Ugh.
There's this new series.
Oh, look at that's Courtney Cox and Paul Rudd.
What?
I mean, not Courtney Cox. Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, she looks really good. I always liked her hair.
Dude, she had the hairstyle for years. Okay, so this is how she looks like right now.
No, I didn't like the Rachel. I liked her hair when it's like long and like
This-
her hair.
This is how she looks like right now. She
Yeah,
still
that's
looks
how she looked.
fucking amazing. Like she aged.
She's
like,
in her 50s too.
Yes, she aged like fine wine. I would say that. I mean, she was younger. Yeah, she was cute. She was hot. And then she went through this like period where she was just like okay. And then now she's just like. She's the hottest older woman I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
You think so?
Yeah, I think she's among the top for sure. Like she just looks great. Let me bring.
I think she looks. I mean, she looks good from whenever the last time I saw her, a award show or something. But hottest, I don't know. I think Jennifer Lopez is damn hot. I'm sorry.
No,
she's got like
she's damn hot too. She is for sure. You know,
like Jennifer Lopez at the Super Bowl last year, and she did something else too, didn't she? She was like,
that's true.
right.
I remember that. Courtney Cox didn't look good because I think she got like a bunch of surgery, and she ended up on
her
some
face looks messed
weird
up.
show, which actually turned out being not that bad. But
Was that the show where they drank a lot of wine?
yeah,
I forget the name of it, but it wasn't
in
that
Florida.
bad. I watched it a few times. Yeah,
it's really weird to get into at first because you're just.
but it's not.
like,
It's not a bad show. It's just like
No, it gets better. It's really awkward at first. It feels.
they used to have the commercials on TBS with like wine, so I always thought like they just sat around and drank a lot, which is
they
what
do.
they did. But
They do. What was it? Who else was it gonna do?
do Reese Witherspoon. She's like, I thought she aged really well. She was
Really?
somebody that was always like, I don't think she's changed really at all. She kind of still looks like the same. What was that movie that she was in with
The Notebook.
No, was she wasn't in The Notebook.
Oh,
Where
that was
Cruel
Rachel
Intentions.
McAdams. Cruel Intentions.
Rachel McAdams is young though. I think Reese Witherspoon is in her 50s.
Really?
She's cute.
Yeah, she does look the same.
She doesn't look. Yeah, I don't think she looks that old and that different.
Nah, she doesn't. It's weird looking at celebrities right now. I hate to bring this up again, but it almost seems like the world has changed so much that it just feels like celebrities and like things like that like are just like, because you don't have movie theaters anymore, so you don't have like movie releases anymore, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, like somebody like Reese Witherspoon is doing pretty well. I feel like she had like a lot of stuff because they're still doing. I think there's been a large move anyway from the big screen to like Netflix and Amazon.
I know, but the
And
activity
Hulu?
hasn't been so high in 2020. It's
No,
been
but
really,
I
really
feel like
low,
there's
so
people that if you have shows and there was shows being filmed this year, like later in the year, but their activity did kick up.
not having like the usual releases kind of made me feel in the past year that made me forget about
I
pop
see.
culture a little bit and the celebrity world, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hope I don't see that as a bad thing. I see themselves more in putting themselves though in other areas that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
I'm not saying it's a
they're
bad
still,
thing.
They're trying to be relevant, you know.
I'm just simply stating like the effect that I think it had is just like it's changed, right? It's not, you know, you got like celebrities at home, maybe posting on their Instagram or like doing like short videos.
Yeah, like what
here
does
and
like
there.
people do now? Like the magazine, like they can't be like, who wore it best?
Or tabloids or
like-
whatever, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, do paparazzi wear masks?
Yeah, they probably do. Right? Yeah. I don't know. Let's check out what People magazine has. Well, no, People magazine does like more than that. They probably have a lot of like politics stuff going on right now.
Yeah, People magazine probably is all about politics, but they're still like a gossip column, a gossip magazine. Like they're not. I mean, they do interesting stories,
Or like, oh my God, here you go.
features, I guess.
It's just politics. Dude, Ben Affleck reflects on Jennifer Lopez romance. Dude,
That's the kind of news that they have.
Ben Affleck.
It's like a big headline too. It's like got a big prominent space.
Dude, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. I'm sorry. I guess people were probably mean and racist for the times, but like, I don't like Ben Affleck. I don't like him. I don't like
I
him.
believe that he was with her. I mean,
You could believe that they were together? Really?
no, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm.
I can believe that like her and A-Rod are together. They're like hot human beings. Like
What
I
about
can definitely see them like
the
living in Miami.
entertainment? That is the.
I wonder though with things like that because I remember when they got together, they had like a movie or something. Isn't that like where they met or something like that? And it's like,
Yeah, they had a romance movie together.
you know, how I don't know how long they were together for or not, but like some part of me is always like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, is it a PR thing or
Was
Is
it
it
made
not?
in Manhattan or some shit? I don't know.
no? That was with Oh no, that was a wedding planner.
How
Matthew
are we
McConaughey.
talking about Dexter right now?
You know who I don't you know what I don't like about like celebrities or gossip or you know any of this stuff is just if somebody says anything, it's reported on as like real news. It's like
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen, you know, tweeted that she doesn't like applesauce. And it's like front page news. You know what I mean? It's like
Oh, that's
Like,
what makes
Mott's
it great,
gets involved,
dude.
you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
what
it's
makes
like
it
drama.
great. It's entertainment. It's tabloid shit. It's shit to make you forget about what the fuck is going on right now.
I know, but like there's so much going on that like I think that sometimes that stuff just adds like sometimes fuel to the fire and it's not really needed. It's not needed to kind of to add anything to a story. You know what I mean? Somebody's opinion isn't going to it's just not needed. It's just not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I would want to know if, you know, Jennifer Lopez doesn't like applesauce. That would be big news to me. You know who's having a
You
rough
like
time?
applesauce? Like I feel like I like applesauce, but we went apple picking this year. I know I just went off on a tangent. But we went apple picking and I made applesauce and there's just so much of it. I didn't know what to do with all of it. And like it's just something weird to eat. Like if you're eating it like I know you eat it with pork chops and stuff, but like what else can you do with applesauce besides give it to a baby?
Still fucking love Mariah Carey. If I could snuggle with her for a night, I would. Just. She's having a hard time.
Like that is not a flattering picture. Like what is that the dress or she just have bad Spanx on?
I think she's gotten thick, maybe. But yeah, I would.
I just feel like that's like a typical Mariah pose. Like the fans are like always like on her hair, making her hair go like.
I love her. I love her music. Legit love her music.
It was my first CD.
And love her, and she has hard times, but you know, she still comes back. Maybe not so much anymore, but
She's got Christmas every year. Like, you know.
she's got Christmas every year. Yeah, man. Mariah. There was some way that I could be more obsessed
Yeah,
with
Mariah.
her, I would. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, man. We gotta. You know what's interesting is like every decade that there's been like major issues. I know you notice a trend. I notice a trend. When things are going well, you hear, like, at least with music, right? I can think of a few decades or periods of time where like there was like war or anything like that going on, political problems in the United States in particular. So you notice like it's kind of harder to identify now because of the way music has just kind of sprawled out onto the internet. Like the only way you'd be able to know that is if you were looking at like charts and analytics on music. But it seems like very aggressive music seems to come out during a period of time where like things aren't that bad. Does that make sense? And then poppy
Oh, and like
music,
peaceful, like
poppy happy music seems to come out during times where shit is really bad. So I remember 2000. I remember the recession, right? And that's in 2008, and 2009, around that area. You know, we started seeing a lot of like hip hop and dance music that are coming out, right? Like "Blame It on the Alcohol" came out around that time, right? With Jamie Foxx, and you know, a lot of like dance, outgoing pop, hip hop music came out during that time. But before that, what you had was like more you know, punk was really big and rock was really big. So you had like Korn on the charts, you had like all this really aggressive music during that period of time. And if you go back a little bit further, you know, there's a period of the 80s where, or the 90s, where you had like grunge, right? But then shortly after grunge, you had a wave of like pop, like hardcore pop, like boy bands and stuff like that. And during that like transition in the 90s, there was a correlation between the economic times being relatively okay and when you see like pop music start to come out and shit got bad. Does that make sense? And I'm sure we can go back a little bit further on the decades. And so what I've been really trying to look for is like right now should be a period of time where we start to hear more pop music come out. I know Ariana Grande like put something out last year. Her new album dropped and it was all about sex. But
Taylor Swift came out with a few albums this year. She's pop.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But like prior to that, I didn't really. I guess prior to that, we did have more of a darker hip hop pop sound, and kind of like a darker
Today
subgenres
is
of
different than pop 20 years ago, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it is. I like how you said that. Like it's a little darker. It's
Yeah.
mixed with. There's more influence from other genres within pop, especially like hip hop.
Well, that's kind of the beauty of pop, is that it can be literally anything, right? So, like Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit was a pop song. It was a pop song. Didn't sound like a pop song now. We wouldn't consider that a pop song now, but it was grunge, and grunge was pop. whether somebody likes to admit it or not, that was pop at the time. And but and then you had like bubblegum pop, kind of with like boy bands and Britney Spears and stuff like that, right? But like anything can be considered pop. So like now, pop, it's more hip hop influenced across the board, and then you have like different types of subgenres within that. So everything has kind of like this hip hop influence in it today. And I think back then it was like everything kind of had like a little bit of a rock pop influence back then. So I guess what I'm saying is that it just seemed a little bit darker prior to this, and you know, maybe we should be seeing a lot more pop songs that are more about themes like sex, maybe, like but I mean, you always have like that coming out. I don't know. Maybe the landscape has changed because of the internet. You know, people just can listen to whatever the fuck they want, and they can't really be influenced by media anymore. Whereas in the past, it used to be able, you know.
I was gonna say, I think it's, I mean, for me anyway, like I don't, unless I'm in the car, which is like very rare, I don't even listen to like the stations that I would, like, you know, like a Z100 or something where they're playing like the hits, right? Like I listen to like radio.
Well, it's crazy to think about like how, you know, things like MTV and the radio had so much influence over what people listened to, and now because of the internet, that
like I couldn't
power's
tell
now
you
gone.
what the like hot song is, you know what I mean? That like, I mean, I guess you see it on like TikTok or something now first before you would even like hear it on the radio. But it is crazy how you were being like told what to listen to, basically.
Yeah, I mean, something like that's going to happen with news in the media, and especially after this, it'll take a while, but
I do think that like that's where so much there's and I'm not saying like censor or control the media, but there's got to be some kind of accountability on their part of just,
well,
you know,
what's
like
funny.
Like ratings and you know, money, like it's never gonna not be the priority, but it's just disgusting.
Well, like I've been touting BitTube for a while now, right? It's one of the alternative platforms that we stream to, and I've been talking about it for a very, very long time. And the thing is about this is like I go on Twitter and people are like, well, you know, YouTube sucks, YouTube's banned Trump. There are decentralized platforms that exist right now. Like if you wanted to do a video, like this doesn't just handle video posts, it handles image posts, it handles audio posts, it handles live streams. And it's like, you could, like, this is a censorship free environment, so you could just post everything here, but people don't do it. And then so like there's this argument of like, well, you know, you can't really censor people, like Ron Paul got fucking censored. Like, you know, they took him off of Facebook or whatever. And
recently, like with Trump.
Yeah, and it, you know, because they're probably running on some kind of algorithm. And again, that you can't just run these things on an algorithm. I don't know, man. It makes no sense to me. But like, there's also this argument. Well, so like Ron Paul needs to like build his own Facebook in order for this to happen, you know. But the thing is like these things do exist,
but they're just not convenient, and they're not like, they don't come in. The reason it's such a big deal is like these people have like built-in followers of, you know, millions and millions of followers.
Yeah.
like that are already on these networks.
They're already
You have
on
to
the
get
networks.
people.
Yeah.
You have to get people to join whatever it is that you're creating, and then have them use it. And it is possible.
Apple banning Parler was interesting to me because
Well, Amazon banning it as well.
yeah, that was very interesting to me because at the end of the day, it's just
I
a
agree.
platform. And so what's the deal with that? And I guess it is primarily used by a subset of like a group, but it's still just a platform. So I don't know, that was kind of weird. That kind of stood out to me for a bit.
It was the timing, I think, of it all that just really didn't hit right. I mean, I don't know what to think about Google and Apple and Amazon banning Parler either. I wonder how I'd feel if it happened at like a different time, but it all kind of happening together. It just felt like this perfect storm of, now we can kind of do this. They weren't, he said, not that he said worse things, and I don't know this exactly, and I don't have the statistics on it or anything, but it just feels like for a long time people have been like, why can't we ban him? And there's always been, these companies have always kind of really stuck up for him. And there's been other instances where people have said that he's incited violence, and it just feels like this time, again, knowing it's the Capitol and all that, it just feels like the timing of it just all came together very quickly, and decisions were made that just seemed to go against what has been made in the past, and what they've said about why they haven't had any action in the past.
Yeah.
It just happened so quickly. I think it's just I don't know. There's just something odd to me about it. That's all.
Like, I get the
I don't know what it
idea
is.
of like, the laws don't make sense anymore to like fix for something like social media. And unfortunately we didn't spend enough time trying to figure it out, and the consequences of that are coming to light, and
Yeah.
like I get the other part is like, okay, so you ban Trump from Twitter, right? Now I don't know what he's saying. Now I don't know what's happening. Right now nobody knows what's happening because they all moved to different platforms or private messaging or what have you, Now you don't know as like law enforcement, like what the fuck is going on, because you just force them all to go to different places, where you can't see them. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah. All right, I gotta end this because I gotta go to bed. And also I'm having some like I'm starting to not feel well. All right. I'm gonna end this if that's okay, and hop off.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Tough. Thank you for showing up. Our fucking asshole friends didn't show up, but it's all good.
How do you get in touch? So where do you message? Where can I get your messages on here? But I don't know how to message you on here.
The best way to message me is through Signal.
Oh, I downloaded that too.
Yeah, because it's really easy to set up. You don't have to use your regular number. You can use a throwaway number. But if you use if you don't want to bother like the reason Signal is so good is because it takes you through the same workflow that signing up for any messenger would, which is like, you know, input your number, confirm your number, and then boom, you're done, you know? But like,
I have it on my work phone. I just didn't, I thought I downloaded it on my
yeah.
personal.
Yeah, I mean, it's Signal is not completely private. What it does is it encrypts the contents of your messages, so you know.
I do have it.
Huh?
I do have it.
Yeah.
I just didn't start it.
Yeah. So that's the best way to do it. I don't take phone calls on my regular phone number. I do phone calls, video phone calls, and text messaging all through Signal. So that's like my main form of communication now. It's unfortunate because I'm still trying to get my dad on it. I got my mom on it, but my dad is smart in that he never opened up the Google Play Store. He never put in a Gmail account or an email account, but it makes it harder to get the Signal app because you have to what's called sideload it. You have to download the app off the website, and then you have to allow your phone to install like an app that's not part of the Play Store, and you know, it's just like it's a process, right? So like, but it's good that you can do that. But anyways,
I love when you when you download an app like this, and then it's like, do you want to access your contacts? And it comes up, and you see the people that are on the app.
Yeah.
And there's people that are currently on this app that like, it's just funny to see like this guy, one guy, Gio Barada. He was a maintenance guy when I worked at another college in Westchester. And it just brings back memories of like, I'll never talk to this guy again, but it brings back memories. There's also somebody in my phone as Stanley Dog. So I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
It must have been somebody that I met that had a dog. And his name is, because I tend to do that, like people's last names.
I do that too. You know what I like to do? Is I like to make a play on their like last name to make it sound more like food. So for example, instead of just like Michael, in a way for me to remember this guy named Michael, I'll call him like Michael Roney, so it sounds like macaroni, or Liz Anya.
Pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a good one.
I'm not gonna say your name on air, but
we're still on. I thought we were.
I'll think of one. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right now. Thank you, everybody. I will see you next